Introduction to survey research. Survey research is a systematic method used to gather numerical data to understand the current status of a subject, test hypotheses, or answer specific questions. It's a versatile tool that can provide valuable insights into a wide range of topics by collecting data from a sample of individuals. Defining survey research. Survey research is a method of collecting data from individuals using standardized tools like questionnaires or interviews. The goal is to gather information about attitudes, beliefs, behaviors, or characteristics of a population. Structured. Questions and response options are predefined to ensure consistency. For instance, a customer satisfaction survey might ask, "How satisfied are you with our service?" With response options ranging from very satisfied to very dissatisfied. Cross-sectional. Data is collected at one point in time, offering a snapshot of the current status. An example could be a political poll conducted just before an election. Quantitative. The focus is on numerical data, allowing for statistical analysis. For example, a survey might measure the percentage of people who support a particular policy. Key characteristics of survey research. 1. Structured questionnaires. Surveys use standardized questions to ensure consistency. For instance, a health survey might use a Likert scale to measure agreement with statements about physical activity. 2. Representative sampling. Surveys aim to gather data from a sample that accurately represents the population. An example is using random sampling to select participants from a city's voter registry. 3. Quantitative data analysis. Statistical methods analyze the collected data to identify patterns and trends. For example, analyzing survey data might reveal a correlation between education level and health outcomes. 4. Generalizability of findings. Well-designed surveys allow researchers to generalize findings to the broader population. For instance, a national health survey can provide insights applicable to the entire country's population. Types of survey research. Descriptive surveys describe characteristics of a population, such as demographics or behaviors. For example, a census survey might collect data on age, gender, and occupation. Analytical surveys analyze relationships between variables, such as how income level affects health outcomes. For example, a survey might explore the impact of exercise on mental health. Evaluative surveys assess the effectiveness of programs or policies. An example is a post-training survey that evaluates the impact of a professional development program on job performance. Advantages of survey research. 1. Cost effectiveness. Surveys are often cheaper than other methods like focus groups. For instance, online surveys eliminate printing and postage costs. 2. Efficiency. Large amounts of data can be collected quickly. An example is an online survey distributed via email to thousands of respondents simultaneously. 3. Generalizability. Proper sampling allows findings to be generalized to the broader population. For example, a well-conducted national survey can reflect the views of the entire country's population. 4. Quantitative data. Surveys produce numerical data that can be objectively analyzed. For instance, sales surveys can quantify customer satisfaction levels. Limitations of survey research. Response bias. Respondents may give inaccurate answers due to social desirability or misunderstanding. For example, people might underreport unhealthy behaviors. Limited depth of information. Closed-ended questions may not capture all nuances. For instance, a yes-no question about exercise habits doesn't explain the reasons behind them. Sampling bias. If the sample isn't representative, the results may be skewed. For example, a survey conducted only in urban areas might not reflect rural opinions. Lack of contextual understanding. Surveys may miss the context behind responses. For example, a survey on work stress might not capture the specific workplace issues causing stress. Data collection methods in survey research. Online surveys. Convenient and accessible, conducted through platforms like SurveyMonkey. An example is a feedback survey sent via email after a purchase. Paper-based surveys. Traditional method, useful in settings without internet access. For instance, paper surveys might be used in rural health clinics. Telephone interviews allow for clarification of responses. For example, a customer service survey conducted over the phone can probe deeper into customer complaints. Face-to-face interviews enable detailed discussions but are resource-intensive. An example is in-depth interviews with patients about their healthcare experiences. Sampling techniques in survey research. Probability sampling ensures a representative sample. For example, simple random sampling, selecting random individuals from a list. Stratified random sampling, dividing the population into subgroups and sampling each subgroup. Cluster sampling, dividing the population into clusters and randomly sampling clusters. Non-probability sampling may not be representative. For example, convenience sampling, selecting easily accessible participants. Quota sampling, ensuring specific characteristics in the sample. Snowball sampling, participants refer others to the survey. Data analysis and survey research. 1. Descriptive statistics. Summarize data to provide insights into central tendency, variability, and distribution. For instance, calculating the average age of survey respondents. 2. Inferential statistics. Draw inferences about the population based on sample data. For example, using regression analysis to predict future trends based on current survey data. 3. Data visualization. Use graphs and charts to represent data visually. For instance, bar charts to compare satisfaction levels across different regions. Ethical considerations in survey research. Informed consent. Participants must be fully informed about the research purpose and procedures. For instance, a survey on medical treatment must explain potential risks and benefits. Confidentiality and anonymity. Protect participant privacy. For example, responses to a mental health survey should be anonymized to prevent identification. Data security. Protect data from unauthorized access. For instance, encrypting survey data to prevent breaches. Beneficence. Maximize benefits and minimize risks to participants. For example, designing surveys to avoid distressing questions.